What's going on, you guys? Welcome on back to the channel. Now, the newest episode of My Hero Academia just dropped, and honestly, I think this might be the most divisive episode of the entire season. I'm seeing so many split opinions on it. Some people are saying the episode's great, some people are saying the episode is one of the worst episodes of My Hero. There really isn't a good common middle ground when it comes to this episode, so I thought I could come on here and be the middle ground that this episode needs because while I do love the episode, there are things about it that I don't really like in terms of like how they handled the material in this episode. So, I figured let's just break it down. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and everything in between with this episode because there is going to be a lot of different like takes about it, but let's just talk about it like this. So, first and foremost, the one thing that I really dug about this episode is how it portrays Izuku. Because I've been saying this now for the past couple videos, but I really like that Deku has reclaimed his agency as a character. A lot of the times in the manga, especially around this point in the narrative, the vestiges kind of felt like they were speaking for Deku. But here in the anime, we're able to see Deku like think for himself. He's using the quirks in his own way, like using the quirks in different ways that are specific to him. And like they could only be utilized this way because he's the one using it. I like that. It shows his admiration for quirks way better than the manga ever did, and I love that a lot. That's one of the best things that they did. I also just really loved the animation for Deku this episode. In my opinion, the action scenes that he got, like when he's punching Shigaraki, when he's doing all this crazy stuff with Black Whip, that's some of like, and of course, like the monumental final punch where he transfers the rest of the One for All users to Shigaraki. That looked great. There's so many good things that Deku gets in this episode. He even gets like anime original extensions to his fight with Shigaraki. That's what I love. That's the stuff that I wanted to see because Deku versus Shigaraki is so short in the manga. But here in the anime, they were able to extend it, make it longer, make it just a better fight all in all. And I really like it. This is obviously the best looking Deku and Shigaraki fight that I think we've gotten out of the three that we've had. Like, I don't think that's any competition at this point. Deku and Shigaraki fights, as much as I love the anime, man, the Deku versus Shigaraki fights have clearly not been at the forefront of attention for Bones in the past couple seasons. But they finally knocked it out of the park for this final one, and I honestly really liked it. But I can see why people are having complaints with it, right? First and foremost, the stuff with Deku. Again, while I liked it, a lot of people had very high expectations going into this episode. This is in my opinion, the biggest episode in terms of adaptation and how things were needed to be handled, especially coming off of the Bakugo episodes. People, I think, set their expectations very high, and rightfully so. Deku is the main character, so you would expect him to get all the crazy animation that Bakugo got. Like, but the thing with Bakugo, and I think the thing that people need to take into account, Bakugo, I feel like, is the animator's favorite character, right? I've said from the beginning that when it comes to Bakugo, the animators were probably going to go crazy with him because this is pretty much the last fight that Bakugo really gets to do. Like, that was the last big moments that Bakugo really gets within the narrative, except for like some final thing at the end. But this was essentially Bakugo's swan song. And that's why everything looked the way it did in those two episodes, right? Because they wanted to make sure that Bakugo got not only the respect that he deserved, but the animation that he deserved. Because Bakugo had never really had a villain of his own up until that point. So that's why they went as hard as they did with it. The problem that they got themselves into, though, is because the adaptation is so good, everybody's expectations were through the roof for Deku and Shigaraki. And I don't think they were ever going to hit that because there's still more stuff that's going on with Deku and Shigaraki. Like, The stuff that we got in this episode is just like the beginning. There's more that we're going to get within the rest of the season. So I do think there's more opportunities for more to happen like near the tail end of the season. But I can also see why people were upset because this is the main character. A lot of the action kind of felt like it was done through people like watching the fight, like at the shelter and with Lady Nagant. It kind of felt like the characters took precedent over like Deku in the adaptation. And I get why people wouldn't like that. It's completely understandable. Like, I don't know if I completely liked it as well, but I see what they were going with there. I see what they were trying to execute. They were trying to show like this is Deku after all these like big moments that he's had. He's never really had people see him and acknowledge him as a true hero because every time it feels like he's not allowed to get that recognition. Like with Stain, with Overhaul, a lot of the stuff feels like it has to be buried down. But here, we're finally seeing him have his big hero moment with the whole world watching him. That's kind of what I think they were going with there. This is Deku's essentially big hero moment, so they wanted to capture like as many different people watching it as possible. And I see what they were going for, but it also hurts the adaptation for it because the action kind of feels like it's secondary, even though there's so many good cuts going on there. Like, even though a lot of the action is pretty much just shown through like the screen, it still looks so good. The detail is still off the chart. It's just not the main focus. Like characters like Yaoyorozu and Nagan and everybody that's watching, and Eri especially, they all are the main focus, like watching Deku. So that's pretty much what I wanted to just talk about there with the adaptation. But there is also a negative that I have, a pretty big negative. Through the last 5 episodes, it feels like we've had really great pacing for the most part, right? The pacing has honestly been very good, but this episode in particular, it kind of felt like the pacing took a hit, in my opinion. The pacing for the first time has suffered a little bit. And I think the reason it suffered is because they tried to cram just a little too much at the end. I think the episode should have ended right when Deku got to the house. I don't think it should have ended on the slap because ending on the slap, it feels like you're trying to cram way too much in order to essentially set up for a different type of cliffhanger. I get why they did it, but I think ending on the house feels a lot more not only climactic, but it sets up the next like episode in a much better way, in my opinion, because once Deku gets there, we see like the dark Deku figure. We see Stain like attack him. We see Deku run into the house, and like all this happens in the span of like the final 2 minutes, right? I don't like that. I didn't really like that at all because it felt like it hurt the adaptation, in my opinion, just because of the pacing. The pacing really took a hit. And of course, the flashbacks this episode. Like, I don't mind flashbacks. I really don't. The flashbacks in My Hero Academia this season have actually been good and have actually helped to remind me of certain things, helped to like link things from the past to the present a lot better than they would have without them. But this episode, man, the flashbacks I feel like were a little overbearing, in my opinion. Way too overbearing. I didn't need another explanation on Black Whip. I don't think that was necessary at all. But I do like that, like I said, Deku has agency again as a character, and like the vestiges actually feel like characters to me now. In the manga, they did not feel like characters. They kind of just felt like ghosts that were just there. But in the anime, they really feel like their own characters. And that's going to hit so much harder next week with all the stuff with Nana. The stuff with Nana next week is going to be crazy. But I don't like what they did with the preview. Okay, this is actually my final thing that I'm going to talk about. If you're an anime only, please click off now. You've been warned. I don't want to spoil you. The fact that they put all for one giving Shigaraki decay and taking his original quirk in the freaking preview is the dumbest shit I think they've ever done. Why would you do that? That is one of the worst decisions that I think the anime staff has made. Like, and this isn't even the first time they've done something like this to spoil a plot point. They did it when Danger Sense got taken too. Oh my god, man. I really wish that they wouldn't do stuff like that, but I guess they're doing it for like the hook. But you're spoiling anime onlys, and like they should know that a lot of their demographic is anime only. I don't know. That's pretty much my thoughts on the episode. I kind of just wanted to come on here, give a lot of the good, the bad, and everything in between. But I think that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think about this episode down in the comments below. Did you like it like the same as me, or do you guys think like the completely opposite way and not like the episode at all? Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I'm going to talk to you guys next time. Bye.